Your life changes at every salary level, not gradually, not smoothly. In specific moments, at specific numbers, in ways nobody prepares you for. Today we're going through every major salary level from 20,000 a year to 1 million. Not what the numbers look like on paper, what they actually feel like to live. The mornings, the decisions, the version of yourself you become at each level. Stay till the end, because the final level isn't what most people expect. $20,000 a year, $10 an hour. You know this not because you calculated it, but because the number follows you everywhere, into the grocery store, into the gas station, into every conversation you avoid about what you do for a living. After taxes, you take home roughly $1,400 a month. Rent takes more than half of that. Not an apartment, a room, in someone else's house with someone else's noise through the wall at 2 in the morning. You eat what costs less: rice, ramen, whatever's on the bottom shelf. You stop pretending you choose these things. You don't choose. The number chooses for you. Your car has 190,000 miles on it. The check engine light has been on so long it feels like a feature. You put $20 of gas in at a time because filling the tank means skipping something else. Gas or groceries. Groceries or phone bill. Phone bill or the shoes falling apart since March. You're at the register and the card declines. Not because you're broke, because the transfer from this morning hasn't cleared yet. You step aside. You open the app. You refresh it twice. The cashier waits. The person behind you waits. And you feel something shrink inside you that has nothing to do with money. The first rule: at 20,000, you don't manage money. Money manages you. $35,000 a year. The first salary that feels like stability. Not good money, real money. Benefits, direct deposit, a title on your email signature. You move into your own apartment. 1 bedroom, small kitchen, a door that locks behind you. The silence on the other side belongs entirely to you. That silence feels like the most expensive thing you've ever owned. You fill your gas tank all the way. The feeling of watching it hit full is something people at higher levels will never understand. But 35,000 in a city charging 1,200 for rent is still tight. The panic of 20,000 is gone, replaced by something duller, a low awareness that one bad month could pull you back. The number is never exciting, but it's never terrifying either. That space between exciting and terrifying is exactly where 35,000 lives. The second rule: 35,000 is the first time you stop surviving and start looking forward. $50,000 a year. You're average now. Not the version of average anyone dreams about. The version that means you landed where most people do. Your fridge is full. Your bills are paid. You can go to dinner without checking your account first. That used to feel impossible. Now it feels normal. And normal is the problem. You run the numbers one night. 50,000 for the next 30 years. Same raises, same trajectory. The number at the end is survivable. Not exciting. Survivable. You stare at that projection and feel something you didn't expect. Not fear. Disappointment. The kind that seeps in slowly like cold through a window you can't find. Your coworker makes 80,000. Same hours, different department. You found out by accident, and now you can't unfind it. The gap between 50 and 80 isn't just $30,000. It's a different apartment, different car, different freedom. You do the same work. The paycheck says otherwise. The third rule: 50,000 is the mirror. You see exactly where you are and exactly where you're not. $75,000 a year. Something shifts. Not in your bank account, in your mornings. You wake up and money isn't the first thought anymore. For the first time, you think about what you want before you think about what you can afford. You moved into a better apartment. Not luxury, just space. A neighborhood where you sleep through the night. You book a flight without waiting for a sale. You buy groceries without checking the total. Small shifts that feel enormous to someone who remembers 20,000. People start calling you successful. You don't correct them. But the word feels borrowed, like a jacket that fits but isn't yours. Because you know what 100,000 looks like from here. And 75 still feels like the waiting room. The fourth rule: 75,000 is where money gets quiet. And in that quiet, you finally hear yourself. Drop in the comments right now. Which level are you at? I want to see the range in this audience. $100,000 a year, six figures. The number everyone chases. You thought crossing it would feel like arriving somewhere. It doesn't. Taxes take more than you imagined. 100,000 is really 72,000 after the government takes its cut. In New York or San Francisco, 100,000 is survival money dressed in a nice title. You're rich to your family, average to your coworker, broke compared to your neighbor. The number means everything and nothing depending on who's looking. You stop telling people what you make, not humility, protection. At 100,000, everyone has an opinion about your money. Family calls more often, friends pitch ideas. Everyone suddenly knows what you should do with a number they've never held. You sit with the number you chased for years and realize the chasing was the point. Having it feels nothing like wanting it. The fifth rule: six figures is a door, not a destination. $150,000 a year. The biggest change isn't the apartment or the car. It's social. You stop relating to conversations about money problems. Not because you don't care, because you forgot what it feels like. That forgetting creates distance you don't notice until someone reminds you. A friend asks to borrow money. The amount is small to you. It's everything to them. You say yes without thinking. They say thank you in a way that carries weight you weren't expecting. Same city, same streets, different math. Can you leave this job without panic? Can you take a month off? The answer is almost. Not yet, but almost. The sixth rule: 150,000 is where money stops being the conversation and starts being the silence between conversations nobody has anymore. $250,000 a year. Different world, different language. Tax optimization, not tax refunds. Asset allocation, not savings accounts. Your accountant costs more than your first car. Dinners where nobody checks the bill. Weekends where nobody suggests the cheap option. Not because anyone is showing off, because cost stopped being a variable. You understand both sides now. The distance you felt looking up from 20,000, someone is looking up at you right now with that exact expression. Understanding both sides doesn't make it easier. It makes it lonelier. The seventh rule: the higher the salary, the smaller the circle. $500,000 a year. Money becomes invisible. Decisions aren't about cost anymore. They're about time. What costs you hours? What saves you hours? What earns while you sleep? The isolation is real, not loneliness. Something else. The person you were at 20,000 eating ramen between shifts wouldn't recognize you. And you wouldn't know how to explain this life to them without sounding like someone you once resented. The eighth rule: 500,000 doesn't buy happiness. It buys distance from struggle, from people, from the version of yourself who understood what $10 an hour actually felt like. $1 million a year. You don't say it out loud. Nobody at this level does. The number exists in tax documents and wire transfers and conversations with attorneys who charge by the 6-minute increment. You walk into rooms where decisions get made, not because of fame, because your judgment and capital are useful to the people already sitting there, not social, structural. You remember the parking lot, the $5 meal, the declined card. You remember it the way you remember a country you lived in as a child, familiar but foreign, yours but not anymore. The ninth rule: at 1 million, money stops measuring your worth. It starts measuring your reach. Here's what all 9 levels share. The number changes. The fear just changes shape. At 20,000, you're afraid of tonight. At 1 million, you're afraid of losing the reach. The anxiety doesn't disappear. It upgrades. Somewhere right now, someone is at the level you used to be at, looking up at your number the exact way you once looked up at it, convinced that getting there solves it. It doesn't, but moving toward it still changes you in ways that staying never will. The paycheck hits every 2 weeks. It takes whoever shows up. If this one hit differently than you expected, subscribe. Every week, Scott Finance breaks down how money actually works at every level, not the highlight reel. The psychology, the patterns, the truth about what money does to you as it grows. Hit the button.